All right, thanks. Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the November General Membership Meeting for the Heartland Continuum of Care. I'll call the meeting to order at 9:03 a.m. We have your minutes. If you've had a chance to look at the minutes, are there any additions or corrections needed to those minutes? All right, hearing none, the minutes will stand as presented. Josh, you want to talk to us and pull up the screen about the board slate?
Yes. With this being our annual meeting, one of the things that we do each year at this meeting is approve the board slate for the next year. And so the Heartland Continuum of Care Board of Directors has approved this slate that I'm going to share with you now. It reflects no changes from the board for 2022. The officers are all still serving the term that they agreed to prior to 2022. One thing that I wanted to mention is we have 17 people on the board, and the board of directors anticipates adding 2 more individuals to the board of directors in early 2023. And the 2 goals of those appointments would be working with a person with lived experience in the last 7 years to ensure that representation is on the board, and then also increasing the diversity of the board are the 2 priorities for those 2 additional slots. So with that being said, we would ask for your approval for this slate as it stands.
All right, may I have a motion to approve? Are there any questions before we do that? I'm sorry. Are there any questions? May I have a motion to approve?
I'll motion.
Thanks, Tracy. May I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, thank you. All in favor signify by aye or thumbs up. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much. All right, giving you a moment here, Josh, to flip to your next slide. Or is this going to be just are you just going to talk us through the governance update?
Yeah, this is relatively brief, right? One of the things we want to do at our annual meeting each year is sort of dust off the governance and say, what needs to be changed. Last year, at the same meeting, we said, hey, we're in the midst of a strategic planning process. We anticipate that it's going to have some significant ramifications for how we organize and do this work. And so we wanted to put a pause on that until we got the strategic plan done. Given that was approved just in the last 2 months, we have not been able to say, okay, how does this structure impact the governance? And so what we are asking is to take the year of 2023 to really see how the addition of the new strategy board that has been implemented through the strategic plan, through the Heartland House strategic plan, the Heartland House strategy board. The thought is, let's allow that strategy board to get established and get working, and spend the summer of 2023 really doing really a complete rebuild of our governance from the ground up for sort of this new world that we live in, and this new way we're organizing to do the work. So with that being said, we don't have an updated governance document for you. We would ask that we would continue under the governance as it stands for until the annual meeting of next year.
Any questions?
Sorry.
Yeah, any questions, any thoughts on that? That was kind of difficult when we were talking through it, because we know there's so many things that do need to change, but we also are very aware of how things will change just anyway through this new organization and how things are governed. So do we have any questions at all? All right, either everybody's still sleeping, or boy, they just think that's just great, Josh. So good job. All right, let's move on to our calendar. This is a little bit of a different scenario. So you want to talk about that?
Yeah, well, I'll say over the course of the last couple of years, I think we've navigated quite a bit. And so there was a time where the general membership meetings went on pause in 2020 while we all, I think, just try to figure out what was happening and what we were doing and how to survive. we began meeting again in late 2020. And the thought was, let's meet as much as we can, just to try to communicate as much as we can and keep conversations going. Things, throughout the pandemic, a lot of times we're developing pretty fast and funding was coming and going. And so as we've sort of lived into a little bit of a new reality, and we're looking to 2023 and really sort of really sort of shifting our priorities and how can we invest in the general membership in the most effective ways. What we're proposing is doing things a little bit differently in terms of our meetings. So what we have here are roughly quarterly general membership meetings. So this body would meet in February, April, June, and September, with the annual meeting taking place in October. And then what we're proposing to do those months where we don't have general membership meetings is really invest in training opportunities. This connects with strategic goals and initiatives. It connects with having a stronger HUD grant, making sure that we're delivering and adding value to our organizations by bringing in training opportunities, connecting with training opportunities that help us further the work, do it more consistently across the continuum, and sharpen our skills. So to create that space to really invest in training, this is what we're proposing. So really would welcome feedback from you on those training days. We would anticipate, it will vary probably on each one of those depending on what trainings we line up, and we'll be working with organizations and at some level we'll be looking at the HUD grant and saying, okay, we know we need to deliver these trainings, and then we'll also be speaking with organizations to say, what trainings do you feel like would add value to the work you're doing, and incorporate some of those. So but we're anticipating sometimes those training days might be half days, 3/4 days, potentially even full days. We don't really know at this time, and it'll vary, I'm sure, depending on the day. But this is what we're proposing. Would welcome any feedback from you all.
Yes, any feedback, or anybody has a specific topic they think we need to be addressing or looking at, we'd welcome that kind of information also.
I'm sure you guys have already checked this, but I was thinking our governance said that we had to have 6 meetings a year for some reason. Is that the case?
For membership?
I believe that's the board of directors.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
Thanks,
I will
Amy.
check that though, just to make sure.
Yeah, that's why I said, I'm not sure about the membership. I knew the board of directors did. Yeah.
Yeah, I did look at it, and so, but it's been a minute. So,
Yeah.
and if my memory is correct, I thought it was 4,
Mhm.
or it was less than that. But
Yeah.
I was thinking there was a 6 number in there somewhere, but that would make sense if it was the board. So
Mhm.
I kind of like the organization. People can plan, and maybe with 4 general membership meetings, then people make more available for training, that kind of thing. I like the way it looks.
yeah, thanks, Jane. One thing I didn't really touch on, but the anticipation too is this would have an impact on the content of these meetings. One of the priorities is to really ensure that we're doing a better job in incorporating data and what we're communicating. And so, I think these meetings would really, they would include reports from, pretty significant reports from the crisis response task groups. What are they doing? What are their goals? Updates on that strategic plan. What progress are we making? Where are we at? What are we seeing? So it really, so we'd sort of shift a little bit away from like updates, like here's some of the things that are coming up, to really, more here are our goals, here's the progress we're making, that type of content.
Okay. All right, Jess, thank you for your comment. We appreciate it. All right. Year in review.
Yeah, and this was, I floated this out there, not really knowing exactly what I was thinking, but the intent behind this, and I don't have a presentation, not sure why I shared that at the moment, but is just to kind of take a moment and pause, right? So mentioned, you know, if we think about the work that's taken place in this community over the course of the last couple of years, all the things that our organizations have navigated and had to figure out as a means of keeping people safe and offering services and expanding services. You know, it's really been a dizzying couple years. And, you know, one of the things that, you know, when I'm speaking with people or giving presentations or whatever else, one of the things that I say often is that I think the organizations represented here, the organizations that make up our general membership, that make up our system of care for people experiencing homelessness are far underappreciated in this community. You know, I think, you know, you all who are leading these organizations, who are serving on the front line, you know, the work that you've done over the course of the last couple of years is beyond incredible in my book. And I'm grateful to have had a bit of a front seat to sort of see what you're doing and sort of hear about the challenges and how you're navigating it. And I know the work has been tireless. I mean, it's been nonstop. And so I just kind of wanted to take a moment to just sort of say thank you as we think about 2022 year in review. You know, I don't know that I share my appreciation for you all enough, truly, but I think this is a field where we're often, you know, we see the crisis, we see the needs around us, and we want to see more needs get met. And so I think we all constantly have this sense of like, we've got to do more, we have to do more. But at the same time, I think it's really important for us as a general membership to stop and just acknowledge the incredible work that's taken place. A lot of change in our community, a lot of change in our system. You know, endless updates about a strategic plan have led to a strategic plan. And you know, there's a lot of work that went into that over the last 18 months. And many of you were deeply involved in that. We've seen new initiatives like the emergency housing vouchers pop up, and we've been able to help 37 households into housing opportunities. And that happened through your organizations and Nick's work. You know, we've seen more engagement with landlords. We've seen new rapid rehousing programs pop up in organizations. Again, I just think it's incredible as we've thought about emergency shelter and struggled through emergency shelter over the last few years. You know, you all have worked together. You've continually, you know, seen the issues, the challenges, and try to navigate through that. And it's all incredibly challenging work. And so, yeah. So my year in review, in a sense here, just really want to say thank you. You know, we see what you're doing, we see what you're trying to do, and you know, as we continually try to do better and increase opportunities, I just think it's important for you to know that we appreciate each of you.
I will add my 2 cents and say that I do sing all of your praises whenever I get a chance and try to explain that progress is there. You know, don't be negative. We are moving forward. Just hang in there with us, kind of thing. I just can't believe what all you do. All of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Jane. We appreciate that.
I was going to say the same thing. I had my husband with me yesterday and took him to meet Amy and Josh. And part of that is because I'm constantly talking about what this homeless group is doing. And just when you're talking to someone outside of this circle and trying to explain where we were and where we are, and I introduced him to Josh and Nick, and it's like, these people didn't even exist, you know, 2 to 3 years ago. And you know, don't judge us by who's still standing on the corner begging for money. That is not who we are, what we're doing. And I just can't sing the praises of Josh and Nick and Val and some of these people who have really put so much time into heading us in the right direction. The agencies are out there doing the day-to-day in the trenches, but Josh and Nick and Val have done so much as far as studying other communities, looking into what is working, and putting so much time into this strategic plan. I don't think anyone realizes how much time Josh has put in, not only on that, but on the grants that have come through, and staying on top of the HUD changes and things like that is a full-time job, but just adding everything. So I just, from the outside looking in, it's amazing what you guys have done, and just want to sing your praises. It's been a fantastic year.
Thanks, Tammy.
Thanks, Tammy.
I appreciate you mentioning Val by name too, because as a board chair, she has gone, we've got, for what we've paid her, the value of that the continuum of care I've gotten in return has been just beyond incredible. So Val, we are really grateful for all that you've invested.
Yeah, and I'm hoping that you'll double that salary this next year. You think you can swing that?
I'm gonna take you out to more lunches, I think. That's what.
Thank you, Josh.
All right.
Any other comments? Thoughts? All right. Next up in business, we have our 2023 point in time count, January 30th. Joshua, we're going to put a link in the chat for folks who would like to volunteer. Is there anything more you'd like to say on that?
I'm going to send that out to the full general membership.
Okay.
So I have to create that form. Didn't get that done.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
so
Gosh, I mean, just from what we talked yesterday, 4:40, you didn't get that done? Gee.
Just want to say there too. So, we'll build off the foundation that we've used in previous years. But we also want to engage people in planning. We know holidays are coming, but especially in January, we'll plan, specific meetings to organize that effort. So we'll appreciate any feedback that anyone has and any involvement you're willing to have as we do that.
All right. Any questions on that? All right, thank you. The Youth Homeless Task Group update. This is an exciting new group that's meeting that I think is going to be able to really take us far. So Katina, would you like to give us an update on what's going on there?
Sure. So the Youth Homelessness Task Group, we did the Homeless Youth Summit at the end of August, and now we're going to host an event that's just going to focus on youth, similar to what we did before. It's going to be a Young Voices to end youth homelessness. It's young people under 25, and we're just going to bring them together to discuss the issues of youth homelessness in Sangamon County, get their input, get their thoughts. All youth are invited, but of course we always are looking for youth with lived experience. We'll be getting out information on that very soon, so be watching for that. And then if you have youth that you think would really like to participate, we do hope out of this event, then we can hopefully pull some youth together to form a youth advisory board. So that event is December 11th. At 3 o'clock. We are going to have in-person and virtual options. So
Thank you so much for heading that up. I think this is going to be phenomenal.
Want to, for this group's sake too, kind of add to that, really grateful for Katina's leadership among that group too, and say one of the things that we're looking towards is a HUD grant called the Youth Homelessness Demonstration Program. It's a newer grant over the last several years that HUD has issued out to some communities. And so some of the groundwork we're laying here is really to prepare ourselves for, a grant application in that direction too. So we've been grateful for the response of folks interested and who've kind of pitched in on that task group.
All right. Yeah, just move on to the salary and benefit comparison survey.
Yes. So a relatively quick thing, but among some organizations, as we try to navigate expanding organizations and hiring new caseworkers and others during these times, we thought it would be helpful to just have an idea of what other organizations are paying various positions. So the link in the chat will take you to a Google form. It's anonymous. It doesn't ask for your organization name or any of that type of thing, but it does have a lot of spaces where you could enter in information about your organization that we then could share out as a way of helping organizations know how what they're offering compares to other similar organizations in the community. So would love, the more participation we have in that, the better of a picture we get. So would love for you to take the time to help in that way.
All right, I think we mentioned last month, or although I may be confused, about our Springfield Police Department has a funding opportunity with ICEJA, and I don't remember what, it's criminal justice, and I don't remember what all the, what everything stands for. But is Sergeant Doss or Shannon, either one on the phone? Oh, there you go. You want to talk to us a little bit about what's going on and maybe the public meeting that's happening?
Sure. I don't think Shannon's on there. If she is, and I'm wrong, please feel free to chime in whenever you'd like. So back this past July, the Illinois legislators funded 4 pilot cities through the Illinois Criminal Justice Information Authority, ICEJA, to start code deflector programs in their city. So the code deflector program for Springfield is specifically supposed to address and assist people that have been victims of crime. And we're going to move forward with that. And we're also going to try to specifically address homelessness and mental health issues with our co-response program. That's going to allow the program specifically states we have to hire licensed clinical social workers. So if anybody has one that's in their back pocket that's unemployed, please let me know, because we're looking to hire that as soon as we can get the money approved. So hopefully a very short turnaround for all of it. We're supposed to start being operational in January, allegedly. And it's so we're going to go from there. So we have a meeting coming up next Monday, the 21st, from 1 to 3 roughly at the Memorial Learning Lab. I sent some invitations out to that. If anybody would like to come to it as well, the more the merrier. And then we're looking at doing our kickoff for that and start planning, having some planning meetings in January. I do not have a specific date for that as of yet, but that's kind of a very brief synopsis of what the program is.
Thanks, Sergeant Doss. Could you throw your email in the chat there if anybody wants to reach out to you with any?
Sure, absolutely. I'll throw my email in and address. And if anybody doesn't remember to write it down or can't access it later on, it's on the city website or under the police department and in the neighborhood policing section.
Sounds great. So if I understand correctly, this Monday is sort of a preview opportunity to hear, hear a longer presentation of sort of what Sergeant Doss was speaking on. And then there will be, I think at least, there'll be additional opportunities if I understand correctly too. So, so this is a good opportunity Monday, to sort of hear and begin thinking about what could be possible.
We're working with the group Treatment Alternatives for Safe Community through the Center for Health and Justice up in, they're based out of Chicago, but they have offices down here. So they're the ones doing the presentation. We'll have more information there.
Sounds great.
Did we learn whether that's the time that we need to spend these funds has been extended? Because I know initially it was a really quick turnaround time. Have you heard anything more on that?
The legislation says the money is supposed to be spent by June of 2023.
Yeah.
However, the ICEJA person said that I've been talking to saying that it'll be almost definitely extended out through the end of 2023, if not longer. They expect this to be continually funded, not just for a short period of time. They have a meeting coming up next month where they're going to work out all those details, which, well, I'll just leave it at that. They're going to work out all those details.
All right, thank you. That's good to hear. Anybody have any questions for Sergeant Doss? Okay, thank you so much. All right, we're at agency updates.
I'll jump right in. Hello, everyone.
Okay, great.
My name is Diamond Armstrong, and I work for a nonprofit called Oxford House Inc. And I decided to wear a little hat, with our logo and our colors on it. But so we are a recovery housing organization, and we provide housing to people in recovery from drugs and alcohol. And we are new to Springfield. We actually opened our first home October 1st of this year. It is a men's home. It houses 13 men, including myself. It's a very big home, 5,000 square feet, like almost 7 bedrooms, huge basement. We have a lot of space. But we are looking to get up and running in Springfield. And so we have a women's home that will be opening. I believe it's the middle of December, maybe December 16th to be exact. I'll have to get that that information, but I believe it's December 16th. And I just want to express my gratitude for you guys inviting me to your membership. And I'm looking to just make some networking connections and learn how we can, help each other address the issues in our community. So thank you very much.
No, welcome. We appreciate that.
Thank you for joining us, Diamond.
Mhm.
Would you mind, I don't know if you would want to speak on it, or even if just put information in the chat if people want to connect with you, but in terms of referral to Oxford House, how that works, how people can connect with Oxford House if they know people who might benefit from the program.
Yes, I'll speak on it. So Oxford House is a self-ran, democratically run, self-supporting organization. And that means that the people in the home are the ones that make the decision, right? So there's not, a house manager per se, right? But I am here for guidance and support. And so what we do is we have a website. It's oxfordvacancies.com. And on this website, you can narrow your search by state, by county, and it'll give you information for the vacancies on a particular home, and then information to contact that particular home. And so each house has a point of contact. It is someone that lives within the house. And because it's self-sustaining, the way the process works, if you have someone who is interested in residency, they would contact, this person. They would set up an interview with the rest of the guys or women in the home. And so there's an interview process, and they'll decide, the people in the home decide whether or not, this person is beneficial for their recovery in their home, and then if it's beneficial for their particular circumstance. Now, you can also contact me, and I will put my information in the chat, and I can sort of guide you and whoever is maybe interested in connecting with this particular home. So I oversee the Springfield area or Sangamon County. I have other outreach workers is the official term that oversees different areas within Illinois. And we are in, Springfield, Granite City. If you just happen to come across someone who needs residency in another area, then I can also be a point of contact for that. But I will list my information in the chat. And if you do have anyone who may benefit from what we offer, then please reach out.
Is this strictly housing, Diamond, or are there services available, or?
So it is housing, but each person that lives in the house are required to work, to have some sort of services, at their hand, whether it's, and we're recovery based. So it'll be, a lot of meetings, sponsorship in the recovery, community. We do what's called working the steps. And so they'll be required to work the steps. They'll be required to work, to pay their share of expenses, because it is self-supporting. The people that pay their expenses in the house, they get to see and decide exactly where it goes, right? Like it's not paying anyone's salary. You know, I'm not paid from what the residents pay. It actually goes into a bank account, a house bank account, and then they vote, very similar to the voting system here, which I noticed. But they vote and decide where that goes, whether it's to rent or to pay, you know, electric bills or to buy a TV for the house. But, you know, in a nutshell, that's what it is. But if any of you guys are interested and want to reach out, maybe we can set up a meeting and I can have some more information for you. And, you know, hopefully it will help us, you know, connect and address the issues, you know, in our community.
Is the house that you currently have for the men, is it full?
No, it is not full. It is not full. We have about 7 vacancies, and I've been working with different treatment centers and homeless shelters. We do have about 5 guys in the house. We are looking to add a couple more tomorrow, actually. But, you know, there's 13 vacancies. Right now, we plan on 2 more coming. And so we have technically about 5 vacancies. And our basement, so we're going to have some work done on the house. We're going to add an egress window in the basement to officially make it a bedroom, and that'll open up, you know, 3 more spots. But we do have vacancies. We're not completely full yet.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you guys so much.
Anybody else have any questions for Diamond? All right, any other agency updates?
I don't want to put Helping Hands on the spot, but there have been some pretty big announcements since our last general membership meeting, and I would suspect most folks on the call have read about them, seen about them, but it might be good to mention here. But do we still have folks from Helping Hands on the? Then we might have had some folks drop off. I know there's a SHPA conference going on. So I think those that were on might have left, with the exception of Yolanda, and Yolanda's like, I'm not giving a presentation on that, but I will put a link in the chat. The county and Helping Hands announced a joint venture, I would say, to turn part of what is now a vacant part of the juvenile detention center out on Dirksen into a new shelter space that Helping Hands would utilize. It would incorporate the services they currently are offering now. It also would incorporate space for the overflow shelter to have a long-term sustainable home, and help us as a community sort of move forward without the uncertainty that often comes from not having adequate shelter space. So it's a big opportunity, and we'll continue to sort of support that and see what comes next. Since our last, I'll just mention a couple things too. Since our last meeting, we did give a presentation to the Citizens Club. That is a really long link, but that should take you to a YouTube video that the city of Springfield put together of that Citizens Club presentation. Myself, Jonita Johnson, and Ricky Reese all spoke about different aspects of the strategic plan ultimately. And so we were grateful for that opportunity. And then the last link I'm going to share, all of you are perhaps tired of hearing about the strategic plan. But in case you're just wanting a refresher on all that's in there, our community education team did put together a guide that's in the same style as the community ambassador training. And so it's about 10 or 15 minutes probably. So if you're interested in kind of checking that out, it doesn't do a super deep dive, but really kind of captures what the strategic plan is about. So that's there in the chat as well.
I would just like to add that on the Citizens Club meeting, the presentation was very good, but it was also very interesting, the questions that were presented in the answers. So if nothing else, watch that part.
Q&A is always a fascinating journey.
All right, any other agency updates?
Yeah, I have an update for Land of Lincoln Legal Aid. My name's
Okay.
Jazz, and we're going to be doing a presentation with the Springfield Urban League on Tuesday, November 22nd at 5:30. I'll put the info in the chat. And it's on tenants' rights in housing, which I think would probably be applicable to some of the organizations here. It's going to be mostly geared towards tenants, but anyone on this call is welcome to go, or if you know anyone who might, benefit from learning about tenants' rights in a landlord-tenant relationship. We cover everything from what we should do before signing a lease through how to request repairs and what the eviction process looks like and some defenses that can be raised there. So really trying to provide a relatively comprehensive, but also very brief presentation regarding what people's rights are.
Thank you.
Jazz, we'll be happy to send out any information about those efforts too. And that does in January, again, we'll utilize the email to get word out about this too, but we're going to partner with an organization called Hope Fair Housing. They're going to come to the Lincoln Library and give a presentation on fair housing. So we'll certainly make sure that you all are aware of that. Jazz, in the comment section, Dawn is asking when that meeting is. So any information you want to share?
I'll put the info in the chat and I'll follow up to you, Josh, with a flyer we have for it. But it's Tuesday, November 22nd at 5:30, and it's at one of the Springfield Urban League buildings. They have like 3 different locations, so I'll make sure to put the right address in the chat there. I don't know if any of y'all have tried to go to meetings there before, but pinning down exactly which building you're going to is very important.
Perfect. Thanks. Thanks for asking too, Dawn.
Anyone else? Josh, do you have anything else for the good of the organization here?
I think I've covered all the territory I had on my mind anyway.
Okay, well,
Hey.
Tracy.
Sorry, Val. I did want to bring something up, and it's not what you're thinking, Val.
Well, I was gonna say you jumped ahead of me. No, I'm only kidding.
No, I just wanted to let all of the agencies that have emergency shelter and transitional housing projects currently in HMIS that there will be questions thrown out that are very weird by me. These are questions that HUD produces off of what I'm working on, which is the LSA report, longitudinal systems analysis. It's combined with everybody else's in the country and it's presented to Congress. So the questions are very specific. Please answer them as soon as possible and get them back to me. I do have a timeline of by mid-January, but when you start to see these questions, you're going to understand why. It's very complicated. So I would just appreciate any responses fairly quickly is all on those that I emailed to. That's it.
It is, I
Okay,
know.
well then,
Just gonna say, the work that Tracy does around HMIS, I think it probably leaves a lot of us scratching our head. But this is a project that has a lot of little details and things that Tracy is working out. And so all the cooperation, that we can give to her certainly helps make her job easier, which is I think a good thing for us to do. So Tracy, we appreciate all you put into that. What comes out
You're
of that?
welcome and thank you.
Yeah, our reports and data that HUD uses that factor into our HUD grants, but also, it's a data report that we use as we look at strategy and other things. So the information is also really important to us as a community.
all right, that's exactly what I was gonna say. It's all the work that she does behind the scenes that helps us move forward with our mission. So we appreciate it, Tracy.
Thank you.
Hey, Josh, can I just give a quick introduction?
Sure.
Okay, so I'm Dawn Mobley. I work for SIU Medicine, and community health work is really what I do. And so I have with me Lauren Harbison. She was hired recently to work at the Salvation Army Clinic that we have started there, started back earlier this year. And so she is now designated as a community health worker working out of that clinic for SIU. So she'll be working with patients who are homeless, that need resources with medical, but also with some of the other connections to you guys. So I just wanted to introduce Lauren to you and to let you know we are trying to integrate more physicians into that clinic. Right now we have one doctor that's working out of that clinic, but we're hoping to see that grow a little bit more in this next year. So it has been able to be a place where many patients have been able to come to get care that they've needed, that they didn't have access to before.
That's great. That's great. Dawn and Lauren, and welcome, Lauren. It would be great to connect with you all after Thanksgiving and talk about some of the task groups and things that might be a good connection point for that.
Absolutely.
So I'll send an email to you. I guess,
Okay.
Dawn, I have your email. I'll send it to you. But we'll
Okay.
connect in.
Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, sounds great.
I did think of one more thing, Val, that just that I thought might be important. So basically, once we finish the strategic plan, we jumped into implementation, right? What are some of the quick steps that we can take? And this first year, there's a lot of foundational pieces that we've got to build out. So that Heartland Housed piece that I alluded to earlier, that's sort of that strategy board component when you read through the strategic plan. That group had its first meeting on Halloween. We'll have its next meeting in mid-December. And so that group is formalized. It'll be added to, a little bit, but that the establishment of that is happening, which also is corresponding with a new organization, hopefully a new nonprofit, once we can get to that point, called Heartland Housed. And when you look at the strategic plan, you'll sort of see the structure of that. But Heartland Housed is basically where all of the system support positions for our community will land. So my position, ideally Nick's position, all of those types of efforts will hopefully eventually land with Heartland Housed and sustainable funding coming from especially governmental partners. So as we get some of those things tied up, there will be announcements and I would imagine press releases before this group meets again with information on how that comes together. So I just really wanted to give you a heads up that there's a lot of work going on in that direction, and we'll be announcing things and pushing information out there as that group gets established. You can reach out to me anytime with questions. I might respond to your questions with more questions, but we're working through a lot of new territory, and it's exciting, but a lot of things we're figuring out as we go.
Okay. One last call. Any other agency updates? All right, just a reminder that we have coordinated entry meeting after this meeting, so stay on if you're part of that committee. And
Actually, I need to interject on that, Val.
okay,
Missing a couple of people, and it's because they aren't coming to this meeting. There's
Uh-huh.
another link that we're technically supposed to be using that they're sitting on and waiting.
oh,
meeting.
okay,
So we'll get out of this meeting and we'll start a new one. So if y'all don't have that link to the actual coordinated entry meeting, say so now so we can get it in here.
okay.
Or
Tracy, can you send it to me, please?
Yes.
Tracy, can you send it to me? I'm not sure I have it either.
Yeah, I'm not
Okay.
sure I do either.
Okay,
I'm not sure if I do either.
I will just resend it out then.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Might take me a minute, but I'll figure it out. Okay.
No, that's okay. We appreciate it. Thanks, Tracy, for that.
Yeah.
all those
All right.
folks are on the invite, Tracy. I'll send it out real quick.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right, and just a reminder then, our next meeting will be February the 16th at 9 a.m. Everyone have a wonderful Thanksgiving and holiday season, and we again appreciate all of your hard work. May I have a motion to convene?
I'll make the motion. This is Angela.
All right, thanks, Angela. All right, everyone, have a wonderful day. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.